guys, welcome to Irish Footy Vlogs. Delighted to welcome Luke McQuillan, who's no stranger to the show, with me again today. Luke, how are you?
All good, Key. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Now, we're obviously here to review Drogheda United's 2020 season, which, let's be honest, ended up being a fantastic season. Your general thoughts, your general emotions?
Oh, stop. It was a season to remember, and it had it all, really. Like, it had it all. We had upsets and up and down all season, but look, it was great to actually finish off the league and win it. I thought we were, in the end, if you kind of look at it, I thought we were well-deserved winners. I thought we were best team in the league, with the best squad in the league, I thought, going into the season. So, absolutely fantastic. And look, a small L budget in at Drogheda, and it wasn't even the biggest in the league either, you know what I mean? So they absolutely done themselves very proud, and like they should be very proud of themselves. It was a great season, and it was a great occasion for the club that night down in Cabinteely where we won the league. And oh look, I was lucky enough to get into, probably say I only missed about 2 of the games the whole season, and it was a fantastic season, and it was great being a part of it, you know.
Yeah, you mentioned the budget there. What's been the key? What's been the reason for you how Drogheda have done so well, basically? Obviously, this has been building, hasn't it, over the last few seasons, just about missed out playoffs and that. But what has been the actual key to Drogheda's success?
I think it's just keeping a hold of the players that we've had in the past seasons. I thought, like, going into this season, like the last season, just the season just gone, was like, you're like, a lot of the players I thought would have moved on, but they didn't. They stuck by us. They stayed loyal, and they got their reward in the end. They got the league title. But I think just building, as you said, was so key for us. I think keeping the players that we had, and then this season, like the season, you know what I mean. Last season just gone, it was key that we brought in the experienced heads like Hughie Douglas and Derek Prendergast, like, who I think that really showed to us in the end, and you could even say that nearly won us the league.
Yeah, it was key as well. Not saying he was going, but, like, you know, 3 seasons. It's 3 seasons in. He's manager now.
Yeah.
All that comes together. How big of an influence has he been for you?
Oh, he's fantastic. He's been an absolute. He's worked wonders. He's been an absolute fantastic manager all season. Last 3 years, he's been unbelievable, and he's got the reward in the end. He's got what he wanted. He got the Premier, going up to the Premier Division, and I'm sure he's really looking forward to, like, going in and playing against all these big teams. Like, he's been working so hard with that team for the last 3 years, and a lot of the squad has been there for the last 3 seasons. So he's been working hard with them. He knows them all so well by now, and it's I'd say he's absolutely delighted, and he's looking forward to it. But he's been an absolute massive influence. I think he's been an absolute unbelievable manager all season, all last 3 seasons, as I mentioned. But he's a fantastic manager.
Yeah, and he does night shift as well, doesn't he? I read a
Yeah,
little article there, and I was reading, I was going, bloody hell, fair play to him. He
yeah.
mustn't get a minute. He mustn't get a minute at home.
It's and his first managerial job. He's only really young, you know what I mean? Like, and he's really, like, he knows what he's doing in there, and he's gaining the experience as he goes on. And I'm sure he's looking forward to getting straight into the Premier Division, get going again, you know. And he's if you look at it as well, like, he started his recruitment again early this season, going into the season. Like, it's been a busy week, for us, but it's great that we're getting these deals done, and we're getting these players signed and that, and hopefully now we can keep adding that, and even add some experienced heads from the Premier Division. Like, I'm sure that's what we're looking at, you know.
I think as well it's actually helped some of the younger players, the fact that they've stayed at Drogheda for 2-3 seasons, because they've developed their game, they've developed the system, and it's only good for the actual individual players as well. And I don't know how many signed this week, but every day there was 2 or 3 signing, wasn't there?
Yeah.
Go through them all, but you know the likes of Mark Doyle, Connor Kane, Jordan Ademayu. Who else have you got? Jack Toosh was the latest one.
Yesterday, yeah.
Hughes. The list is endless. Like, that's been key going into the Premier Division now for Drogheda, that they're working on keeping the majority of the players. Hugh Douglas as well. And now they can maybe look to bring in a few players as well. Like, it's going to be important who to bring in. I can't see many coming in, but I don't think any club needs too many players coming in. It's all about getting the right players, isn't it?
Yeah, like, that's what I said. Like, there's no point changing your squad just for the sake of it, you know. I think it's key keeping the players that have brought you this success. They know what Tim wants. They know what Tim is doing, and they believe in him, and they're like taking it on board, and they believe in him, and I think that's important. Like, and like, keeping them players, and then hopefully we can add some more. Like, I'm sure I'm sure that we should be able to add a few more experienced heads, like from to have the Premier Division quality. That will just balance the squad out, and who knows what could happen then this season. Like when you look at the signings, I think we've made 12 signings in 5 days or something, like, which is mental. I think it's been non-stop all week. When I tell you, like, it's been a mad week. It's been a hectic week, but it's good seeing that we aren't not busy. You know what I mean? We're really busy, and we're keeping it all going and keeping it all ticking over, and we're adding to that squad, and it's gonna keep going. I feel over the next few weeks and months leading up to the season. So it's exciting. It is. It's definitely exciting for the club.
I think the great thing about it is some of those players are very good players, and I know that some of the bigger clubs would definitely be looking at them. So to have actually kept them over possibly going to like Drogheda are a big club, but you know what I mean, established Premier Division club is what I'm trying to say. It's cool getting some of those players to sign on, isn't it? In fairness in that regard as well.
Yeah, like absolutely. Yeah, the players that we have in there now, like in keeping Mark Doyle, Connor Kane, Hughie Douglas, who like great signings, absolutely great signings, and the list is endless. Like Jordan Adiemo as well is a great signing. Mark Hughes is a great signing. Like they're all great signings. They're not just signings, and even the younger lads, like the likes of James Clark and Ryan O'Shea. James Clark is a fantastic player. And Ryan O'Shea is very good as well. So it's good that we're keeping these younger lads. What?
I think they're only teenagers, is that right?
They literally are, yeah. They're 19, 18, they're young lads. So it's good that they're going to get the experience now playing in the Premier Division,
Now, you felt very confident, as I know, at the start of the season that Drogheda were going to win the league. In fairness, I said Drogheda would win the league as well, so I'm going to take the win on that one as well. Is there any games this season, or what potential games this season did you say, look, that was a key result, or that was the key result? I know over a season, and of course we had a half season, you need to be consistent. That's obvious. But there's always a game or two, isn't there, within a season where you say, that was a result that really put us in the driving seat, or a massive result. Any game like that for you?
Yeah, I think beating UCD 5-1 at this before lockdown was massive. But then when you look after lockdown, like I thought beating UCD 5-1, I was looking at that and I was like, wow, you know what I mean? Like that is a wow result, and I think I even said that to yourself. But
yeah.
It's one of them things, and then you go down throughout the season, like picking up the 5-1 win against Cabinteely was massive. Beating Bray down in Bray 1-0 was massive. I thought that we had the league wrapped up after that, you know what I mean? But and then we went and then we lost that loan. It was like, oh stop.
And then I thought Bray with league wrapped up.
Yeah, but it's been a dramatic season. You probably can't even put it into words. It's definitely outdone the Premier Division. I think. Yeah, I think so. I have to say. But look, it is. I think as well that you could say like we could have had results in like if you win them games, I think we would have wrapped up the league a bit earlier. But to get it done in the way we did was I can't even put it into words that night in Stradbrook. And just the 3 days before, like after the game against Wexford when Galway won against Bray, like I remember in United Park, we were the game. We'd stay back and watch the game. And like I think there was a good few people around on my phone watching it, and then we seen it went in. But I got a notification, and it was like 1-0 Galway, but I didn't believe it. And then they scored. Then I was like, oh, it was mental. So it was. And then everyone was like out, and they were everyone. But then we had to like kind of calm ourselves down. We were like we've been in this position before. We can't bottle it. You know what I mean? We need to go down and beat Cabinteely, and we deserved to win against Cabinteely as well. I thought that was a great performance, and it was the first half was, you know what I mean, we didn't do it easy, but second half, the goal by James Brown, like you knew as soon as that ball went in the net, it's ours now. It's ours to win now, But
about the James Brown goal, I believe him and Connor Kane had a bit of a bet to see who'd get the first goal for the club. I believe anyway. Connor Kane scored the match before that, I believe, wasn't it before that? It was right foot.
Yeah, he scored against Galway, down in Galway.
That's right. Yeah, it was right foot. Brown was a week later, but I don't think you'd mind too much about that one.
No, stop. It was.
His weak foot as well. That was a weak foot. His weaker foot as well.
Yeah, it was. But it was just like there's so many results that you look back on during that season, and it's been one to remember. Definitely, I'll definitely remember it, like because it's been so not normal. You know what I mean? Where it's like the fans and all, because United Park would have been bouncing them nights, like the day we played Wexford. Like imagine, like United Park would have been full, I'd say, and then when Galway scored against Bray, I'm sure it would have been like hell for leather. And then going down to Cabinteely, I'm sure there would have been like a good couple hundred down there. You know what I mean? And it was just disappointed in that sense. But to do what we've set out to do over the last 3 seasons is it's mental. You know what I mean? It's great. It's a great feeling. That we're back up there, and just we need to just establish ourselves now. Stay up is key, and then establish yourself, get as high as you can in the league, and just that's what we want to do. And I'm sure the players want to do that as well. I know from speaking to the players that have re-signed, you know, they feel the same.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, you know, you look at clubs looking for instant success and putting loads of money into it, etc., etc. Drogheda have done it, you know, I suppose you could say the right way or the more mature way in many ways. Good example for other clubs as well there. As you say, it's been the 3-year kind of a plan. It could have happened last year, it could have happened the first year, but maybe in hindsight, maybe it's better it didn't happen last year. I know it's easy to say that now because you got promoted, but the key is you did get promoted. And in hindsight, say if you went up the first season, it might be more difficult. But we spoke about there how some of the young players have come through and some of them are more mature and are ready now. And I think they might be able to deal with Premier Division football a bit better. And Tim himself is more experienced as a manager. I think those things are key, aren't they, in fairness as well?
Yeah, they definitely are. Like, you look at that and you're like if we had went up the first season, like, who knows how you would have got on there, like how we would have got on there. Like, that's hard to tell. And then look, the second season, I thought beating Finn, when we bet Finn Harps in United Park with the 1-0 in the playoff final, I was like, in the first leg, I thought it was like, we have to go up now. Like, and then Finn Harps, like, we brought it to the 113th minute or something, and that was proper heartbreak. That was just absolute heartbreak. And then you look at that and you're like that was a real setback, I thought. Like, when you look at it, but Tim got the business done early. Tim and Kev both got the business done early at the start of last season, and they set out to win the league, and they achieved it, you know. And not many managers can put a plan in place and then execute it like the way Tim and Kev have done. So I have to give the massive credit to them, and it's been I can't even put it into words. It's just been mental.
Roller coaster, and also this added pressure of, you know, people and the likes of me saying that Drogheda will probably win the league, and I expect them to win the league. Like, that's not easy with that kind of pressure. Some people went for Longford as well, to be fair. No, Longford got up in the end, but they weren't in the conversation for the top 2. Do you know what I mean?
No, definitely not.
It's not easy with that pressure. And I remember I had Chris Lyons on, and I kind of threw that on him a little bit as well. This is mid-season, or maybe it was at the start of the season, roughly. And, you know, you're going to try and dampen that, to be fair. I do believe there was belief in Drogheda that they could win the league, and that's where they were going for. But when you have outside people saying it, it does bring that extra bit of pressure, doesn't it?
Added pressure, yeah, definitely. Yeah, we just, you know, after the Athlone game, I thought, oh my god, I could, like, that was a low, you know. And I just was like, how do you pick yourself up after that? You know what I mean? Like, how do you pick yourself up after that? It was such a horrible, you know what I mean? It was a horrible night, to be honest. But how do you pick yourself up after that? And then to go, and we did pick ourselves up, you know what I mean? Like, I think in between that, when you look at it, we had the COVID outbreak in the Galway squad, and then the COVID outbreak in the Wexford squad. So we didn't have a game for 2 weeks. I think that helped us, because then we went down and played Galway down on a Tuesday night, lashing rain. I went 1-0 down. It didn't go, and then, you know what I mean, 3 great goals and 3 out. That was a great win. I was like, that really brought the belief back into it, you know. And then the Wexford game and 2-0 win. It was we done that easy enough, and then Galway beating Bray, and then all you have to do then is win the league. You know, you've 1 win left, and that's all you have to do. And we did it. So it's just, you know what I mean, it was one of them. But definitely the added pressure doesn't help at the start of the season. Like, I remember, like, we were favourites to win the league, like the bookies' favourites. So you're like, oh no, you know what I mean? Like, you see that and you're like, oh god, it's good to see. It's great to see that, but in a way, it's not as well. So we didn't really want to see that. But I'm sure it was that added pressure. It was difficult at the start, but kind of carried ourselves well at the start of the season as well. Like, two wins out of 3, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, agree. The funny thing is, I think you've only that Athlone defeat was your only defeat in the last 7 matches. I believe you won the other 6. That's impressive enough, and you kind of had to when you look back at it. But I suppose the results, funnily enough, that let Drogheda down in the season, where the matches where you think Drogheda are going to get 3 points here, but in the end it kind of worked out, because you beat Bray twice. So, you know what I mean? If you didn't beat Bray twice, or you drew or something like that, and, you know, won the other game even, you probably lose out and finish second. So in a way, I said this mid-season as well, I know it sounds strange, but in a way, you're better off losing to teams at the bottom end if you're going to lose than losing the teams around you, because they're 6-pointers. And Drogheda did well in the 6-pointers pretty much this season. And ultimately, that's what got them up. I think it's a thing where Drogheda are largely counter-attacking teams. So if they come up against a team that essentially parks the bus, for want of a better word, it's a little bit of a struggle. But your Brays and your Galways and whoever aren't going to park the bus. So it suits Drogheda. Like, you've got Mark Doyle and Brandon Kavanagh out in the wing, for example. Like, you know, they're brilliant on the counter-attack, those players. And funnily enough, going into the Premier Division, the way Drogheda play, I think suits them in the Premier Division, because most teams are not going to park the bus against Drogheda either. So,
no.
Would have thought.
Brandon Birmingham as well, yeah.
Did I say Brandon Kavanagh? Apologies. Yeah. He's the Shamrock Rovers player.
It's easily done. To be honest, I've seen worse ones. I think I seen it the other day when we announced Chris Lyons. Jason Lyons. I've seen that on Instagram. Exactly, I seen that on Instagram. I was like, what the? Yeah. I was like, no way. I was like, what the?
Speaking of Brandon, though, is he 18 still?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's 18, 19. He's a great player. So he is.
Kicked on as the season went on. He scores goals as well. I think he got 5 in the end, because he wasn't necessarily getting in the team, wasn't he? Not at the start of the season.
No, he was unlucky at the start. Yeah, but I think after the lockdown done him well, and he was straight into the squad then, and he got goals. Like, he got goals, and he played really, really well. Like, his goal after lockdown against Shamrock Rovers B was fantastic. Like, that was like he came on that game after about 25 minutes, and then like he played well. Like, I thought he played well that game, and then I think he whatever way he scored it, then he got back. He was in the squad then for the rest of the season. You know, he didn't get out of it, and fair play to him. Like, he's a local lad, and he's playing for his local club. Like, he won the league with his local club. He's a great player, and he's doing really, really well. And I'm sure he extended his contract there the other day, so I'm sure he's looking forward to now getting straight back into it and playing in the Premier Division. You know, I'd say it's great for him. Like, it's on a personal level, you know.
Yeah, it's great, because a lot of people talk about Mark Doyle, and rightfully so. 13 goals this season in the league was unbelievable. Generally a winger. You know, he's played a few up front, but generally a winger. But at the same time, Brandon might come under the radar a little bit in the Premier Division as a result, which might suit him as well. He'd be one I'd be saying one to watch, you know, that kind of way as well, which would put him over the radar. But,
he's a good player.
They're exciting players, like, to see in the Premier Division next season as well. Like, you know, so I think that's the thing with Drogheda as well. If you had to pick your best 3 performers this season, it might be a difficult question, because I know there was a lot of good performers this season. How would you put it?
These players, yeah?
Yeah, 3 players. If you had to pick 3 players.
So Mark Doyle, yeah, you'd have to probably say Mark Doyle. And then I'd probably say David, the keeper. David, fantastic, absolutely unbelievable. 2 penalty saves down in Cabinteely and UCD, which, if you look at that could have won us the league, you know. Yeah. Who else? So you have them 2, and probably have to say James Brown. Fantastic player. Him and Conor Kane, you 2 of the best fullbacks in the league, and I think I said that to you. 100%. I definitely thought they were 2 of the best fullbacks in the league by far, like a country mile. That's what I think, anyways. But I'm sure there's Bray fans and there's Longford fans who think different. You know what I mean? But look, or Galway, whatever. You know what I mean? I honestly think that they're the 2 best fullbacks in the league. You know what I mean? And they're gonna hopefully now we can get Brown done and get him signed on his new deal. And I know that Kane signed, but it'd be great that if we had them 2 going into the Premier Division. You know?
Oh, fantastic, because they bring an awful lot to those fullbacks positions. They're good defensively, but they're good going forward as well. And, you know, I'd look forward to seeing the likes of them, Doyle. Like, that's the thing with Drogheda. You're signing on players that are very young, and Clancy might want to add a bit of experience to that, which is fair enough, and you probably do need to do that, but I'm sure that's something they're working on. What's the most memorable game? I don't know, the most memorable game would obviously have to be Cabinteely, so we'll say best performance of the season. What would you say was the best actual performance?
Yeah, probably say Bray away. It was a performance that we had lacked in recent seasons. You know what I mean? And in them type of games, is defending. We defended. You were down there. Like, we defended very well that night. Like, Huey Douglas was unbelievable. Derek Prendergast, unbelievable. You could say the back 4 were unbelievable. Like, Huey Douglas at one point was playing CDM. You know what I mean? He's running out of defence with the ball, and all you can hear is the Bray fans, nail him. You know what I mean? And it's but no, honestly, like, that game was just absolutely unbelievable. We defended like just incredible. Like when your man went around, David and James Brown. There's a great photo of it. I think Bray got the photo of it, and it's James Brown saving it off the line. Unbelievable. Like that just really, like, you look at them games and you look after the game and what it meant to us, like, and what it meant to, like, win that game and get the 3 points down in Bray when Bray were really on form, like, it was massive. And I think that played a massive part. And I know we lost at Lone the week after, but that was a massive win, and it was a great night as well. But that game would probably be best performance that we played, that we definitely showed, because it was a defensive performance as well,
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can win games 4-0, 5-1. Drogheda are well capable of doing that.
Yeah.
But that night, you kind of looked at it and you said to yourself, that night that there's one they've dug out, and against the team they're actually challenging for the league. And ultimately, I know there was results after that, but ultimately that game proved to be the decisive result in the season, really.
Yeah, it definitely was. Yeah, it 100% was. Because look, if we hadn't won that game, and even if Galway had a bet Bray, we still wouldn't have won the league. You know what I mean?
And you would have been 5 points behind Bray.
Yeah,
or 2 ahead going into the game.
But Bray then hadn't dropped any points since that game.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they went down to UCD then the game after we played them, and they bet UCD. 3-1. But that, you also look at the Drogheda and UCD game down in UCD was a 3-1. It was a great win. Like, we were 1-0 down after about 10 minutes, and then 1-0. I think it was 1-0. Am I right in saying? Yeah, 1-0 at half time, and then we came back out, 2 goals from Mark Doyle, 2-1 up, and then in the 90, I think it was about the 88 minute, they got a penalty, and David, that was a great save, great penalty save, and then Brandon then got the 3rd goal, so that really killed it then. But that was a great performance as well, I thought.
No, that was massive as well. Saving that penalty was key. Like, that's another one I suppose you could argue with, to look to and say that was, like, massive. It obviously was massive. Before I let you go, Luke, how do you see Drogheda doing in the Premier next season, and how do you see the jump? You see Shelburne this season as an example. They ended up finishing 9th. Now, it was a half season, but still, and they kind of won the league relatively well, didn't they, last season, the season before?
Yeah, they did. But it's just, I think what Shells, like, don't want to put any digs at Shells, but I think what they lacked was they brought in too many. I know they kept most of their squad, but I think they brought in too many players. Like, they didn't find the right balance. Quick season, they just didn't click. You know what I mean? The first 3 or 4 games they clicked. They didn't click, and then when it comes after the lockdown, they kind of fell apart. If you look at it, but you'd probably just have to, like, we're getting these new contracts done, which is absolutely unbelievable. And I was saying that to someone, that's key. Like, that is key, and I've mentioned that to you. But now it's about bringing in that experience. Hopefully, we can bring in that experience, bit of Premier Division quality. Like an old head. You know what I mean? That knows what it's like to play in the Premier Division, and I'm sure these young lads will relish from them players. And I think like having Del Prendergast in last year, was massive, and he really he was like a father figure in the dressing room. You know what I mean? And I think that was key as well. But in the Premier Division, you know what I mean, you'd want to stay up, you want to establish yourself, and hopefully we'll be able to do that. And look, I'm looking forward to it now, being back in the Premier Division, getting to all these and getting to play in all these grounds and getting to play against these big teams, and I'm really looking forward to it now, to be honest,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it myself. They're kind of refreshing. They've a refreshing bunch of young players.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's not even, and it lies from Tim, from Kev, from Connor, the chairman. You know what I mean? Like, they're all great people. You know what I mean? And they're all doing an absolute fantastic job. And look, we don't have the biggest budget, and everyone knows that, but we're doing an absolute. It's fantastic to see, and that we're keeping these players and we're tying these players down early. And I'm looking forward to seeing what else we can bring in over the next few months, leading up to Christmas and after Christmas. Because then after Christmas, then, you know what I mean, it's straight in the pre-season, And I'm sure, look, I'm looking forward to seeing Drogheda back in the Premier Division. As you said, it's refreshing because these are young, ambitious players, and they're arguably they're going to be up for it, you know what I mean? And they're looking forward to it, I'm sure. And I'm sure the whole club is looking forward to it. It's great. It's great for everyone involved with the club.
Fantastic, Luke. Thanks for coming on for doing that.
No bother. Thanks for having me, right?
No bother. See you again.
Mind yourself. Bye bye.